What's up, y'all? Tis your boy Dreaded Don here, back again delivering you guys some news about games that just can't die, man. They just can't die. It looks like these games that I'm about to mention, they're facing death or they face death, and it just looks like, man, like I said, they're not willing to die. They're not willing to go out without a fight. And I love that because it just means that hey, this year we winning. Gamers, we're winning. We're on the up this year. We got a lot of people backing us, and we got some good prospects on our team. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's go ahead and get on into it, my friends. The first one I would like to talk about, man, is Hytale, and it comes straight from Hypixel Studios. This studio actually had released their game to Riot Games, and they were like, hey, help us out with the developmental process. You guys got the funding for it, so you guys have the IP rights to whatever you guys want to do with this game. But push comes to shove, Riot ended up being like, hey, no, we really can't develop this the way that we want to develop it, so we're just gonna shut it down completely. Which is always disheartening to just see a game get shut down when it has had so much development on it already, And so what Hypixel went ahead and did is they announced that it wasn't going to be able to be continued or released, and the community just wasn't really feeling that. So Hytale went out of their way. They rehired 30 of the developers that were already working on the game at Riot, and they went ahead and put out a 10-year commitment plan of personal spending to fund the game and keep it in early access, just so they're showing that we're not going to rush it. We're going to really put dedication into developing the game that we handcrafted for the last damn near 10 years, right? Which is absolutely phenomenal for a studio to go and do, man, because it goes to show like how dedicated gamers are when it comes to creating their craft, and then personally tailoring that craft to the community that they want to give it to. And also props to the community for backing up Hypixel Studio and be like, hey man, like this is the game that we want. Well, what do we need to do to make sure that this game succeeds? And it just goes to show like when gamers are passionate about a craft or a game, there's nothing that we're not going to do to go out of our way and make sure it prevails, right? I like to think of WildStar and its private servers that it still has, and or games that are even being developed now in the current process. Like the first one that comes to mind is Kill Carnage, who's a streamer, and he's developing Emberville, and that looks like a phenomenal game. And I just like seeing gamers who are also willing to develop games and not hand it off to publicists, and then be like, when the publicist doesn't want to finish out the game, they're like, okay, well, we'll reacquire the game ourselves and release it to the public no matter what it takes. That's dedication to the craft and love for the game right there. You know what I mean? And then following that up, we also have the executive producer of Anthem. He had recently released, about 3 months ago, released a 3-hour video detailing the year-by-year process in the developmental plannings that had went through with Anthem, all from start to finish. From 2012 all the way up to 2026. He gives you a step-by-step process, letting you know essentially that when Anthem had started, EA was really in a big transition point between Mass Effect and then going into Anthem, going from a single player story-based focused project over into a live service multiplayer game. And that was such a struggle for an executive producer to finally go into. And of course, it's your job. You got to do what your job is. But you as a gamer and as a person who wants to consume the product, I do have some understanding from that on a level. And I definitely, after watching the video, gave me more understanding of how live service games really work as a black hole when they just continue to consume resources from the studio or the team that's working on the product. And as he said majority of the time when they were setting the product up, it wasn't just a matter of what people you have working on the product. It's a matter of how many people you have working on the product and how many people you can keep flowing in to working on that. And when you're working on a new product and you have a team that is dedicatedly used to focusing on single player projects and they get moved over to a live service product, there's no way they're going to be able to compensate for that, right? And then on top of that, he already says, he even admits to himself, he takes blame for it. He had a struggle figuring out the story that he wanted to tell through a multiplayer way, right? And so his plan, after he wraps up the entire video near the 10-minute ending of the video, he ends up saying that his plan, his 3-step plan for it is that he would like to have essentially say that with a $10 million budget, transfer the game to new gen, right? Give it PS5, Xbox, new services, and then put it onto dedicated private or public servers, right? Where you don't have to worry about the game being played multiplayer. You don't have to worry about it being live service. And on top of that, focus and tailor the game toward the single player experience, meaning more fleshed out story, in-depth mechanics. You have change the multiplayer mechanics into AI companions where they follow you around. And that's where he says that the majority of the $10 million budget would really be spent is trying to get the game to be tailored towards a single player experience. And I think that the game could actually work really well as a single player game. When I played it myself, I enjoyed it as a multiplayer game just because flying around as Iron Man, you know, exploring the different areas and grinding with the friends, it was the ideal Final Fantasy as playing as Iron Man, right? But I also understand still how, you know, consolidating or still holding on to that player fantasy playing as Iron Man and keeping that single player experience if you can nail the AI just right. Now, I also think one of my references that I like to believe is, like, I'm not 100% sure if they're still live service updating it, but I would say Outriders is a good example for just a dedicated single player game that has its multiplayer aspects onto it sometimes, and then they cut off service after 1 or 2 expansions, right? I believe, and them would benefit from a framework like Outriders. You know, there's a lot of people who would just enjoy playing the game for what it is and enjoying that power fantasy and the different jobs you get to pilot and do it with friends in a small contained area where it doesn't need live service. But I can also see the game thriving really well from the 10-step plan that the executive producer is talking about when it comes to, you know, transitioning it into new gen, giving it public servers, giving it, you know, a dedicated single player experience with AI companions. 100% understand that. But again, nonetheless, I think it's amazing that he was able to own up and take, you know, rights for the game failing itself, and then also come up with a 10-year plan of how you could still revive the game. And it goes to show that he has dedication for what the game he's created and the plans that he still wants to see it succeed. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's so hard to get in the gaming atmosphere nowadays. Just producers who care about their craft. You know, again, Hytale, we got Anthem, we got another one I'm about to mention here in a sec. And I know I slipped up. I said 10-year plan, but I mean his 3-year plan with a $10 million budget, right? Anyways, the next one that I want to mention is the fact that we have the director of Rust sticking his neck out for New World Eterna, man. He recently actually went on Twitter and tweeted to Amazon, was like, hey, I'll give you guys 25 mil for Anthem. Like, I see the potential that game has, and the stuff I could actually do with that game would blow you guys' mind. I could imagine Alistair McFarlane, which is the director of Rust, him taking New World Eternum and just really giving it the fresh life and the dedication for years to come that it needs. Like, if we think about how long Rust has had its chance for just going on continuously, and the community that has been built around Rust, New World has a great community around it and a great player base that is dedicated to playing the game, given that it has its longevity to be played. We saw what happened when Amazon Studios went out their way to be like, hey, we're shutting down the studios in 2027. You know what I mean? Right after they had announced that we had a new expansion, we were getting new weapons. So many people just came back to the game for the new expansion after it had just got a lot of its bugs and fixes worked. Like, the game was just on its up and up to really become a phenomenal MMO. But the fact that Amazon announced that, hey, we're shutting the game down in 2027, shut down the momentum, just absolutely drained the game's momentum, man. And to do that to a game is so just damn disheartening, man. Like, I'm a fan who played WildStar back in the day, and then when I wanted to go and play WildStar and I had a chance, never had a chance to play it again, that hurt my soul. And the fact that I'm having reliving that same experience with New World just sucks, you know. But knowing that we have people in this atmosphere, in the gaming atmosphere, who are willing to stick their necks out for these games and really put the money where their mouth is, and be like, hey, we'll buy these games for you. We'll put in the effort. We see the potential that these games have, and the communities are willing to build and shuffle around these communities and around these games to establish them as phenomenal titles that they can be. We'll do that. And it's just not much more I could ask for as a gamer, especially since, like, I can't do much myself besides put my money out for that, you know, that $70, $80 title, you know what I mean, $60 title, $40 title. I really ain't doing that. I'm really waiting until they're on sale, about $20, $15, you know. I'm waiting until they're on sale. But again, the fact that, you know, gamers have to wait till the games are on sale, Metaphor ReFantazio is one of the games that I see every time, no matter if it's on sale or not. I'm like, okay, when I get the time to play this game, and I know I got the time to just drop 3 months into this game, I'm spending the money to get it no matter what, right? And I feel like we don't have games like that anymore for gamers, but knowing that we have people who are willing to stick their necks out and really pull the game back from, you know, the depths of hell and be like, hey, nah, you ain't going to the river Styx, my friend. We got you. You're coming with us. It's phenomenal. It's a beautiful, absolutely beautiful thing to see, and it just makes me happy to see, as a gamer, and know that going into the years, even though Jeff Bezos want to change everything over to cloud gaming, and we got with Nvidia doing cloud gaming as well. No, like we got good prospects on our team that are willing to back us up and be like, hey, we got you guys. We're gonna make sure you guys got good games, and it makes me excited, for games to come. Got a little bit despair, but I'm nonetheless still excited for games to come, right? So with that being said, my friends, I just want to let you guys know that, hey, Stop Killing Games is working. Games aren't dying, man. We got people that are willing to stick their necks out for them. People are willing to revive games from the dead. So if you see a game that dies, you might be able to, get some people around it, maybe like bring it back from the dead. That's the best thing about gaming is that, we understand the revival mechanics, and we know that we can always come back. There's always a one-up for us. You know what I mean? Anyways, my friends, if you got any games that you're playing yourself right now that you want to see come back, leave them down below, because I'm curious. You'll like if you enjoyed the video. And as always, my friends, sub so we can share some more info. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys on the horizon. Deuces.